How to make trading your main income or an additional source of earnings? We will answer these questions in this video. Many who have already encountered this topic, especially those who have already earned something, think in this direction. Now I will try to analyze whether it is realistic for an ordinary worker to fully switch to trading and make it their main or additional income. Let's figure it out, and at the end we'll discuss what is needed for a full-fledged trader's work. And believe me, everyone has a chance to earn or make trading their additional income. And let's move on to the points. For example, let's now consider the option for additional earnings, not as a main activity. You can easily earn by simply choosing currency pairs and working with a bot. For example, I chose the currency pair of the Australian and Canadian dollar. Next, I need to select the same currency pair in the trading bot and choose the time to get a signal. In this case, it's 1 minute. And I receive a signal for selling, and right from here I open a sell trade. As you can see, I don't do any analysis. I just receive the signal and open a trade in the direction of that signal. It's all very simple. In this case, you can make it an additional income and dedicate literally half an hour or an hour a day to it. And in this case, if we look at it over the course of a week, it can literally be 2 or 3 times more. You won't need it for it to become your additional income. Yes, sometimes this happens. We will talk about this later regarding emotions and what you need in terms of psychology. By the way, if you want a separate video on psychology, be sure to write about it in the comments. And you will also find more articles on psychology in our Telegram channel AITA, Trading Booster Bot. There you will find more articles on psychology and on how to behave in crisis moments. And here's a very vivid example. A trade closed at a loss. The first trade, very frustrating. Accordingly, I don't need to panic at this moment. And moreover, if I consider this as an additional income, then I need to tone down my emotions and calmly cover the next trade with, for example, $1,500, and then change the currency pair. That is, there was a slight error either in volatility or in the overall movement, which is why we ended up with such a loss. This happens. Moreover, if I had entered just a few seconds later, this trade would have closed in profit. This happens. The next currency pair I choose is the Euro-Australian dollar. And right now, let's talk about the technical components that a trader needs. I receive a buy signal, and right from here I open a buy trade for $1,500. So the very first point is about time. Let's still get to this topic. If you want to make this your main income, then you need to dedicate 2 hours a day. Then all the material will be reinforced. If you want to make it as an additional income, you still need to be constantly in the process, and then you can dedicate half an hour a day. How often per week is up to you. If every day is good, if you can dedicate time to trading 3 times a week, that's also fine. In general, based on these time intervals, the most difficult part is when we talk about full-fledged trading. When you want to become a full-fledged trader, you need to build your own strategy. Yes, if we consider it as additional income, you can simply copy trades with a bot. By the way, I'll leave a link to this bot in the description, and you can activate it and work independently. But I think it's a bit uninteresting to just open trades with a bot. It's much more interesting to do independent analysis, and the bot can serve as an excellent assistant. Then yes, it makes sense. So at this point, you need to build your own strategy. What does this mean? You need to at least somewhat understand how the market is structured, how prices move, and what it depends on, where we have price stops that we can work from. In general, you need to practice and study independently here. Analysis. You will find more detailed information on our Telegram channel AITA Trading Booster. There we share technical aspects that will help you understand this matter. Until you find your strategy, you won't be able to make trading your main income. That is additional earnings, yes, but practice is still needed. And of course, don't forget about emotions. Remember that all traders always have calm emotions. They don't show emotions when they incur a loss, and they don't show emotions when they have a long streak of profitable trades. All of this has a very detrimental effect on your trading. If you realize that you're getting carried away by emotions, then just step away. Take a walk, do some sports, and calm your emotions. Trading is not for emotional people. You need to certainly remember this carefully. Let's move on to the next very important points, but let's open another trade in parallel. Now I choose the euro-dollar currency pair. I'll select approximately 3 minutes for the trade and set approximately $2,500 as the trade will be quite long. Let's get a signal for this currency pair. I choose the euro-dollar and select 3 minutes for the trade. And I receive a buy signal right from here, opening a buy trade. And here we can see a level like this, from which we will most likely get a rebound and go higher. So here's what every trader should know. First and foremost, if you want to make this your main job, then you need to save and set aside. You must have a balance for trading. For example, we have students who earned $10,000 or $20,000 and then withdrew everything. They were left without a working balance. Therefore, you must always have a working balance. Believe me, it's much cooler when you have a working deposit of $50,000, $100,000 and you live off the interest. This way your interest increases, you can take bigger risks, you can make some sharper aggressive moves that will help you earn extra. In general, you should always have a working balance and never withdraw all the money. If you urgently need it, there are such circumstances, then yes. But if we're talking about stability, then you should always have a working balance. Remember this. Next, you should have clear goals and an understanding of why you are trading. If it's just to play around, then most likely it will take away all the money. Or in the moment, like a lottery that lets you win and that's it. It will be a one-time event. Therefore, please take trading seriously. If you came here to earn money, then make it your goal. Treat it like your business, your work. If you came to play in a casino, then accordingly expect such results. And if, as I mentioned earlier, if you hit a loss, if you even lost your entire deposit, don't worry, it's normal. All traders go through this, it's a part of the journey, you just need to accept it and go through it. And it's better if you, of course these are harsh words, don't take it as a personal offense. But if you lost your deposit, let it be. It's better if it's $50 or $100 than losing in the future. For example, $10,000 or $20,000 is a lot. There are people who really lose such large amounts even though everything started so well for them. But at some point they became overconfident or didn't fully learn their strategy and everything went off track. The next most important topic is the technique and equipment you need. Everything you need. First leap, it's a stable internet connection and a mobile phone. If you have these two things, you can confidently, even if you don't have a laptop or many monitors, it's not a problem, it's not necessary to earn. As I said, first you need a mobile phone and then everything else. Something is happening with the market today. Again, my trade is closing at a loss. Very strange, but let's give the trading bot another chance and cover the trade with 5,000. Actually, it's an amazing situation. As you can see, just a sharp downward impulse breaks through all levels and only then does the price return back. It's really frustrating actually, but even in such situations, you can cope with yourself if I can't. Otherwise, go, take a break and just accept this loss. Alright, now I'll cover this loss and at the same time we'll talk about the technique you need. I am choosing a currency pair, British pound, Canadian dollar. The trade will be opened for 1 minute setup. I am now seriously choosing this currency pair and the time for the trade is 1 minute. And I receive a signal, open the sell trade right from here. We can observe that we currently have a good downward movement and we can continue to go down. So let's watch this trade and at the same time discuss the technique. The most important thing is a comfortable workspace and a mobile phone, as I mentioned earlier. If you're in a hurry or busy with something, you won't be able to work properly. You must always concentrate or at the very least play some podcast or music in the background and trade simultaneously. When you've saved your first money, let it be $600, $700, you can buy yourself a decent laptop or a good computer. You don't need to buy 5 monitors right away, it's unnecessary. Why do professional traders even need many monitors? If you trade many assets and it's very important for you to know the fluctuations of each asset, then you simply display them on a separate screen in a grid layout. You can even do this on a regular screen and nothing will really change. That is, you just split the chart this way and observe 2 screens at once. But it's not necessary. By the way, I'm covering my losses and moving into a very good profit. As you can see, even systematically in a very bad market, you can make money. Let's summarize a bit. Regarding the technique, everything is actually clear here. You can even work from a mobile phone and make it an additional income simply by using our trading bot, having a good internet connection and having at least a minimal balance. Regarding psychology, it's also very important here. You need to stay calm and not succumb to emotions. Well then just practice and practice some more. The more you intend to earn in trading, the more you should dedicate yourself, your knowledge and your skills to the chart. If you don't practice, you won't earn. Everything is actually very simple. If something is unclear to you, then write about it in the comments or ask a personal question to our support account. There the team will help you and can explain everything in more detail. But this is the foundation, a very simple foundation, actually that many do not adhere to. Many listen, say that everything is clear, but then you ask about emotions and we have many emotions. or you ask what is your internet connection like, or when do you trade, or how much time do you dedicate to the chart, and no one can answer that. If you have any remaining questions, then follow the links in the description. There you will find our trading bot and our support account, and also our Telegram channel, where there is even more useful information that will help you make trading your main activity or an additional income. Join us. I will leave all the useful links in the description. I will say goodbye to you. See you soon.